Mine's is, we gotta fix that. There's. I think that's that.
What's that?
I think that's that.
All right, we're going to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We are recording for purposes of keeping the minutes, and there's other people recording. Just so you're forewarned. All right, roll call.
Eddie,
I'm here.
Mike,
Yep.
I'm here. Kathy,
Yes.
Doug.
Okay, public participation, public comment to bring matters of public concern before the board and on agenda items. Anybody want to start screaming right off the bat?
I don't want to start screaming, but I want to ask some questions.
Okay,
We've been talking for the last few months about a driveway problem up on West Alexander Loop. Has that been corrected? I know we paid the engineer money to have it, I don't know, did you design it or whatever you did?
No, we just.
Has that been fixed or not?
Can I respond?
yeah,
We were asked to look at it and make recommendation, and the recommendation was sent in.
Okay, has anything been done on that driveway yet?
Sure, I'll address you. It has been fixed.
anything else?
You said
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know when y'all decided to hire the attorneys prior to the organizational meeting, since you had him sitting at the table at the organizational meeting. Decisions weren't supposed to be made prior to that.
Well, decisions aren't made until the time of the meeting. The official meeting is when you make a decision.
They had him sitting at the table. They knew ahead of time they
Ma'am,
were
it
going
happens
to
all,
hire him.
your name, but for the record, your name is
Kathy,
Kathy Gilmore?
yeah.
It happens all the time. Okay?
Mr. Mayor,
Doesn't mean it's legal.
There was no decision made by any current board members at that time. The decision was made at the day of the organization.
We weren't in any
Prior
position to
to
make a
7
decision.
o'clock?
I wasn't here. All I can tell you is,
Look, we went over this last time. We couldn't hire anybody because we weren't in office. Okay?
I didn't say you hired him. I said you made the decision to hire him.
the
Prior
decision,
to that
no. The decision was made at the organization.
Yeah.
Okay.
I go every month, every January, and townships organized. I sit up there every January for different places, and they make that decision that night. Okay?
Okay, second question.
Yeah.
Who made the decision?
It's actually
to-
the third question. but go
Oh,
ahead.
okay, next question. Who made the decision to decide who was gonna sign checks and take a letter to the bank way before Yunus took office? December 29th, Yunus took this letter saying who was going to be the signers on the check prior to the organizational meeting. Who
We
made that
did,
decision?
let me, Ed,
I'm just asking
did you want
questions.
paid that week?
I want paid every week.
Oh, you do? I'm assuming that all the employees want that. Okay?
Did you make a decision to name people to sign checks at that last meeting?
Yes.
Okay, so your decision was made then? Okay.
Some legwork has to be done. Okay? It's called a transition. And it was a rather large transition, and we got very little help from the outgoing. Okay?
As far, and to add to your question about the solicitor, why, ask the outgoing supervisors when they left, how come they didn't put an ad in the paper? Because they knew we were gonna need a solicitor. Gary Sweat had quit
Why hadn't
2
that?
months before that.
2 months before that. And why didn't you ask the outgoing board why they spent $5,000 after the solicitor was gone on a solicitor? Why don't you ask those questions? You're one-sided, Kathy.
Mike, I'm not gonna debate it, but you know that man left here, in his resignation letter, said he would help the township and be available whenever they needed him.
And he would not
With
be at any of the year.
everything
He would
else
not
we're
be at the
doing,
meetings.
we had to
Not
have
be
a
at the meetings,
solicitor.
right?
Okay, anybody else? You done?
Yeah.
No, I got a couple things.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask Mr. Maple,
Sure.
how many other solicitor, how many other townships you solicitor in?
There's 26, we represent 26 different places. There are 4 attorneys in the office,
You're in Blaine Township also.
and Blaine Township also.
Okay, Mr. Furman at the reorganizational meeting at Blaine Township, why did he sit in the audience and not sit right at the front table?
He sat in the audience of Blaine Township?
Yes, he did.
I wasn't there for that either. I can't tell you. I was a South
A
Beta.
supervisor for Blaine told me, he said, we never have the solicitor sit at the table until the reorganization. Then after-
Who told you that?
I ain't telling you who told me, that's one
Well,
of
then,
the.
because I've, wait a minute, wait, no.
It's one of the supervisors.
Wait a minute, I've gone to the meetings before, and I sat at the township, I sat right at the township table. So that's not correct, okay?
Fred Moore is the one that told me.
That's not correct.
You're
Well,
right.
that's, you're calling Fred a
No, wait.
I'm
liar.
not calling Fred a liar,
No,
I'm saying
wait.
it's not correct.
Wait,
Okay,
now wait a minute.
all right.
A, what they do at Blaine's meetings?
He knew better not to sit at the table until he was hired.
I wasn't-
At Blaine, Furman,
It doesn't matter.
okay? If we'd have done that, you guys would have been trying to hang us.
Tom, smile. We encourage smiling here.
I can tell you what to do. All you have to do is say, I'm not answering that. I'm not answering
Well,
that. That cures everything.
Everybody forgets the one aspect of the
That's
whole
all you have
thing.
to do.
If you only had one applicant,
Yeah.
we were kind of, and we need a solicitor.
Right.
When he walked in, and I'm just gonna say,
Yeah,
when he walked in, he went to sit down, and Kathy says, you might as well sit up here because you were the only one that applied for the job, and we need a solicitor. That's your explanation.
JD,
I,
I'm not done yet.
uh,
well, I was in reference to that. You want me to wait until you?
Yeah,
Go ahead,
wait,
Tom,
wait.
go ahead.
Couple road concerns.
okay.
Since when do we allow someone logging to take and turn the logs down on the bank and put them in the ditch on Ely? Is that kosher?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Dave. Nobody said anything about it.
Did you go up Ely today?
I haven't been up Ely for
Go up
weeks.
Ely and look at it. And they're gonna load the logs right there by Babbitt's house, well, what used to be Babbitt's house, right on the turn.
Well, if there's an issue like that,
Did
I mean,
you,
file a police report.
Yeah,
I mean,
did you call and?
I got ahold of Ed, and he told me that he was gonna go look at it.
Okay.
And then
I
there's
don't
some
know
other
anything.
issues, with Ely also.
yeah, I noticed the roads, if you were talking about where the mud's coming up, we
Yeah.
already addressed that today. It's in my report, so.
Car wash in Claysville. Mrs. Imes, you're part owner, correct?
Correct.
We felt that this was gonna be a problem long before it happened, and just so it is. Whenever it's like 5 degrees out, I come through there one night and it was 5 degrees or less. And 40 was like a sheet of ice from cars pulling out on 40 and making the road icy. These gas companies, if they take mud out on the road, people are raising all kinds of heck about it because it's a safety issue. What are we gonna do about the water making ice whenever it's freezing cold?
That's state road.
It doesn't matter.
I can't answer that question.
Darren,
Hey Dave, I can address that.
What's that?
When I salt the parking lot, I go down that side of the road just to be sure that it's salted. For you to say that, I'd like to talk to that person that told you that, because
Darren,
down
I'm the
there
one
at
that
least-
I'm the one that seen it, Darren.
well, every time that I salt down there, I go down that side of the road because I'm trying to be proactive with it. So I don't know when you went through, but I'm gonna say that I've been doing my best to be able to do that, so that didn't run into a problem.
well, we appreciate your diligence, but that's a state road. End of story. Who else had their hand up? You done.
it's in Donegal Township, oh my
It don't matter.
It's a state road.
If you have that condition, call the police, call 911, report a dangerous condition. And
They'll get a hold of PennDOT and PennDOT can come solve
Ask
it.
PennDOT, and then whoever else needs to go out.
Who else? JD,
Is Dave done, or Dave, you done?
done?
Yep.
I want to comment on the solicitor thing, since that seems to be a popular subject. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know about Blaine, and I don't care about Blaine. But when Mr. Furman sat in the audience at Blaine, there was probably already a solicitor sitting up there, was there, or wasn't there? Was anybody there? Or is this all
There was
hearsay?
no solicitor there up at the table. He was sitting in the audience.
Did you bring paperwork for that? Let me ask you a question. The question is, we were appointed. It's over, okay?
You know what, Michael? Don't get me started.
David, don't get me started either.
You want to start something?
No, I'm
Dave,
just
I
saying,
believe
okay,
it. Dave,
Hey, 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 hey.
Oh, JD's got the floor.
Go ahead, JD. Let's get off the solicitor situation. What else can I say?
Okay, just the fact that I thought it was nice that he went up there, since our former solicitor, who's supposed to be watching out for the best interest in covering the board's butt, resigned 2 months ago, wasn't at the meetings, as his contract said that he should have been sitting there to the end of the year. And Mr. Furman was nice enough to go up and sit there, and he answered questions, I believe, from the former board, as a courtesy. So, I don't see a problem with it.
All right.
Thank you.
Just for the record, Mr. Furman leaned over me and told me he made a mistake by sitting up here first.
I wasn't.
I'm
I
not
wasn't here.
addressing you,
No,
okay?
okay.
You know, that's one of the issues that I had with you before. We have a 5-member board here now, and I appreciate your wealth of experience, you've been a lot of places, and I've helped you get some places too, okay? But I'm not asking for a comment, I'm just stating a fact. He leaned over and said he made a mistake by sitting up there. I've been coming to supervisor meetings in this township for more than 30 years, I've never seen it happen here. That doesn't mean it can't happen.
Okay.
It doesn't make any difference because the board hired the solicitor, and now it's done. That's the end of that.
Okay. Any other public comment? We're moving on. Approve the minutes from the December 20th supervisors meeting. Need a motion.
I'm gonna make the motion.
Second?
Second. I'll second.
If I can interject, and I do have to interject because this is a legal situation. You four are all brand new. He's making a motion to accept those. You seconded those. Since you weren't members of the board at that point in time, the motion should be a motion to accept those minutes
As presented or something?
as presented and recommended by the, Mr.
Correct.
That's how it should be said,
Okay.
okay? Because you weren't members back then.
You want to make a change of motion?
Yeah, well, he's correct.
Okay. So, we're gonna approve the minutes from the December 20th meeting as recommended by Mr. Teagarden. Right?
Yes. It's being true and correct.
As presented. Okay. Now, the reorganization.
Wait, no.
Oh,
You have a second. You
Oh.
amend your second to that. You amend,
Yes.
Okay.
Kathy seconded,
All right. Oh, so we're still gonna vote then?
yes.
to vote on.
Okay. All right.
Doug?
Yes,
Kathy? Yes. Mike?
Yes.
I vote yes. Benny?
Yep. All right, so now we're gonna go to the reorganizational minutes. The meeting was January 2nd, 2018. Need a motion to approve those minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of January 2nd reorganizational meeting 2018.
Got a second?
I have changes, but no, for a second, I'll tell you what they are.
All right.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion, any additions?
Yeah, I do have some additions. I have a request that we can get the minutes perhaps sooner than a half an hour before the meeting, so I have a chance to check those against my notes. I'm not saying that they're gonna be done the very next day, but I always found that doing minutes the next day, that you can remember what happened, and of course you had videos and tapes to.
You got something?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
First of all, had some discussion, and questions of Mr. Furman. And one of the nice things about writing down your questions, you can see which ones you ask and get recorded. And one of the questions I asked Mr. Furman was that at any time did he or his firm seek an informed consent from the Board of Supervisors of Donegal Township in regard to representing a client in action with Donegal Township? And Mr. Furman's reply was, he did not know the answer to that. And that's one item. Another item, the paragraph that I said was, I understand that conflicts of interest or perceived conflict of interest in some circumstances may not preclude an attorney from being hired. Can you explain the applicability or inapplicability of the rules under Pennsylvania Code as applies to conflict of interest in attorneys? And he replied that he could not explain that because it was a fairly huge subject, or a very difficult subject, or
Okay,
something to
where are?
it goes in there some, I don't care what he put it in there. Those were points, the bullet points of things I spoke about. And lastly, I asked him a question that said, assuming your firm were hired as township solicitor, and at some point in the future, the position of the Freedom Group becomes, or its members become adverse with Donegal Township, how would you decide which client you would represent or continue to represent? And his response was that he didn't perceive any conflict of interest. And I would like those points and the answers, the minutes accurately reflect those.
Do you want me to comment on what I made?
It's not my meeting, it's your meeting.
Yeah.
Do you want me to comment?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
The only thing was, when I listened to the recording, is that you asked at that point, you said, the fact that you said you asked the following to be noted in the minutes. And and that's what I took it from, exactly that. If you would
Okay.
like me to add the rest?
I would like to add those because, reading what I have here, if you don't want to add them, then we're going to add them to tonight's minutes. It doesn't, 6 of one, half a dozen of another.
This is a legal issue, so I'm gonna object.
Yeah.
The minutes supposedly have to reflect what was stated at that meeting,
Fine.
okay? I'm just
And we
saying,
got video of it, they can, and we can get copies of it, and everybody can listen to it. Those were,
So since it's not written down, we need to,
if you don't want to include it, that's fine, let's include it in the minutes tonight that I asked about it, and you didn't want to include it. Okay, and that's fine, I have no issue with that, Mike. Put on there that I asked that these be added, and that you chose not to. Not to add them
didn't say I
because.
didn't choose to put it on there, I just
Okay,
asked the procedure, Doug.
okay.
the law says, and again, I hate to interrupt, I'm not trying, the law says, does the minutes should reflect what was stated at that meeting.
That's why.
I read right from here, Mr. Michael, that's why I think.
I'm not saying you're right or
Okay.
wrong, I'm just saying.
Okay, I understand, if they, put them wherever you want, you can either put them in there, or put them there that I asked to be there, and you didn't think they belonged there, whatever the.
I will, like I said, you asked.
It is
at
very
that point in
important that they
time.
be, at this point, be correct.
Unlike before.
That's
So
not
do you
good.
guys want me to make the amendments?
No.
Alright. I would like to have a vote from the board that could choose not to make amendment to the change that I'm requesting.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor and a second to accept the minutes.
That I'm moving that the minutes be amended.
Okay.
You're asking
I'm
that, does-
placing a motion on top of the motion.
okay, now you have to ask, is there a second to that motion? To amend.
Amend, the motion being to add the language I'm asking to add. That's the motion. To amend it to say that.
Anybody want a second? Dies for lack of a second.
Okay, I'd like for it to be read back then, because we have trouble getting it correct of what it's gonna say.
What is gonna say?
The motion that I made, and that died for like a second. I'd like to hear the motion, please.
Motion to amend the minutes to add what I was writing.
To address Supervisor Teagard's
To add
concern.
what Mr. T.
Now, I would like the content of what I asked to be added because it was what happened at the meeting and it's not in the minutes.
Boy, does that sound familiar? I believe Doug, you
Hey, guys,
do that
no,
to
I'm
me every
sorry,
meeting.
hey, no, public participation's over with,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go
You
ahead.
you haven't been here for a while.
No, I'm-
They talk whenever they want.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I agree with it.
okay, we're, no, we don't do that here, I'm sorry.
I want.
I know, all right.
Thank you.
Was said at the meeting.
Okay.
And I will listen to it again and type it word for word verbatim.
Okay, but the motion, the content of my motion that I made that was died for lack of a second, that's what I'd like to have read back.
Motion to amend minutes to add what Mr. Teagarden read that was questioned. I didn't finish writing.
That's why you should have someone taking minutes up here that's not
We're taking them right
that's
now.
not participating in the
They can be
meeting.
read right
Excuse me,
Okay.
Mr. Teagarden,
Wait,
can I address
no,
you?
no.
Okay.
Look, we got a motion and a second on the floor. Your motion after that died for lack of a
I
second.
understand that, but I like
So
to,
we're moving on.
no, I'd like to hear the motion. I'm
The
entitled-
motion that's
I'm
on the
entitled to
floor
hear-
with a second is to approve the minutes from this meeting.
I'd like the motion, of my motion to amend, I would like to hear the content of that motion. I'm entitled to hear how that's going to be recorded.
Read.
Motion to amend minutes to add what Mr. Teagarden read that was questioned at,
Would you like for me to read it again?
sure.
Or would you like to hold off till you get to listen to your tape?
Mr. Teagarden, I typed from word for word verbatim. That is why it's typed in here the way it was read, because that is exactly what you said.
And I never said, you're telling me that I never said those paragraphs. Is that what you're telling
You
me?
said all that before, yes, and then you asked, right there, that you asked to be noted, and you said the fact, you said noted that the fact
What does the,
that I questioned his representation of the Donegal Freedom Group and also the Township of Donegal at the same time as they,
what you're saying is I said those things, but I didn't say,
That's why they're in
ask
quotes.
them not to be in the minutes.
no, you said right there, request the following in the minutes, and then you said exactly that. That's why it's in quotes.
Mr. Chairman, I call for a vote.
Now, call for the vote, once you do a call for the vote.
I understand the rule of law.
You vote. Okay, now let's call for the vote, you have to call for the vote, all right?
All right.
Blue Chevy Suburban, Dodge truck.
She's blocked in.
Parked up against the building.
So we're voting to approve the minutes.
Hold on. Blue Chevy Suburban, and what's the other one? A Dodge truck. Parked up against the building. Have we blocked in?
On the side of the gym?
At the entrance,
On this
she's
one.
back there right here beside.
On this
Front, got it
one.
blocked in, there's a pickup truck and a Suburban.
The gym side?
Well,
I'm
one's
right
on the
beside
gym
you, I
side.
think. I think I'm to your left. I'm along this one.
Okay.
You in the
Either
blue?
one.
See
All
how
right,
Yep.
How do you vote?
So I can
went
to approve the minutes as from the January 2nd reorganization meeting.
Mike made the motion, Kathy seconded the motion.
How do you vote?
Yes.
Mike? Yes. Doug?
No.
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
I vote yes.
By show of hands, those of you who were at the last meeting, if I can get your names and addresses after the meeting so I can, well, have it for recorded for the
Would you
record.
like me to give you the recordings as well, because I still have it, and I will not, everybody can hear it. I'll be glad to
YouTube
give
and
it
watch
to you.
it.
You can also go to YouTube and watch it, but I will
Okay.
give you a recording.
We're moving on. Financial business. Approve the treasurer's report dated December 14th, 2017 through January 22nd, 2018. Similar to the thing when we were,
Excuse me?
on December 14th, we weren't.
Well, no, you didn't, no. You can approve this.
This,
Okay.
because it's, yeah.
Okay,
So you ask for a motion to approve that.
okay.
I make a motion to approve the treasurer's report dated December 14th through January 22nd, 2018.
I'll second. Anybody got a problem?
I have a question, Eddie.
Go.
I have a question. Are we gonna start seeing a treasurer's report, like in the past, where the revenue is itemized instead of just a deposit showing in the check registry? Are we gonna start seeing an actual treasurer's report?
That looked like the same kind of thing we got before to me.
No, that's not what I used to have to do. It was an itemized list of the revenue, whether it be tax money coming in, building permits. What you're looking at is just a ballpark figure.
Okay, you don't actually have any, comment on the content, you just wanna see different formats. Is that what
I'm
you're
just
saying?
asking, are we gonna see an actual treasurer's report showing an itemized list?
This
of
is
the
week
revenue?
2, or this is meeting 2 for us, okay? If you have a concern, let us know.
Yeah, we'll-
I'm
We'll
just
fix it.
asking, Eddie, I'm just asking.
I will have Sharon do that, yes.
I mean, I'm
No
just
problem.
asking a question.
Alright, what do you got?
At the organizational meeting, you all said you were not taking pays, but I see checks written out.
Yes,
Did
we
you
all wrote-
reimburse them, or?
Yes.
mean,
Can I-
there's
can
no-
I-
there's
can I
no way
answer
to
that?
check
Yeah, go
this.
We were told, we originally said we weren't gonna take the checks, but we were told that they needed to be run through. If you go and look, I've
Well,
already,
what's it looking at this
I know, but I actually, here's my check. Right here, $131.06. And I've actually already wrote the check back, and I haven't cashed this one, so the
Mine's the
township,
same way.
the township's to the good right now. It's just, we actually have to write the checks back. We were gonna just sign them and put them in there, but they wanted them ran through, so we're just
Yeah.
writing the checks back.
Well, there was just no way to,
I know. I wasn't happy, I didn't want the check.
why did they say you have to write them? If you don't take the pay, there's no reason
Because
to
you have to
write
by
that
law,
check.
you have to take the pay by law.
Do we have to, Mr. Maker?
That's,
I'm not aware of the answer to that situation. You have, as a courtesy, I'll check with my accountant to see what he tells me. Okay?
but, I mean, we have donated our,
Okay.
Alright, anybody else?
Mr. Mako, because the pay has been subjected to taxes because they're treated as employees. And therefore, they're required to have W-2 statement at the end of the year. That's how they're treated.
Okay, I don't know the answer.
And
we just thought it was simpler to write the check back. I wrote a check back to the township for $131.06, and I haven't even cashed the one I got.
And what happens to all the tax money that was withheld that's going?
it's gonna be sent to wherever it's gonna go.
It gets sent, I mean, I still gotta pay taxes on this money. I'm not only donating
still
my money
income.
back, I still gotta pay taxes on it.
Yeah, it's still gonna be income.
It's still income. I'm just trying to help Kathy. I mean, it is, you know what I mean?
It just seems like a lot of paperwork.
We agree.
We agree, we're just trying to help. A little bit, every little bit helps.
Okay. Anybody else? JD?
Kathy, if Mr. Makel's gonna check into that, that'd be great, because appreciate you guys not taking a paycheck, but for all the paperwork, all that's involved, and then you're still paying taxes on it, you're not just not taking it, so there's money coming out of your pockets to cover the taxes.
It's all right, JD, we're not worried about it.
That's sort
We
of,
thought maybe the township could apply for 501c3 and we could write it off. Alright, anybody else? Alright, we're moving on.
Why not
We gotta-
vote?
we gotta
Oh, we
vote.
didn't vote?
Doug?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
I vote yes.
Yep. Alright, department reports. Code enforcement.
Nothing for the month of December to report for tonight.
Okay. Engineer.
Thank you. Just a few items. I see on, under new business, item 4, project payments, you have the equipment garage payment to approve, which will leave a balance of $32,725 left in the contract. We did, their estimate number 3, I believe you received it.
This afternoon,
When I was up,
the one this afternoon?
yeah, there are actually 3, which you have on the agenda tonight, for for $91,000 was pay estimate number 3. The contractor sent to us very late in the game, wanted to know if this could get on the agenda, periodic estimate number 4. The reason being, the only thing that wasn't done when 3 was sent in on January 5th to us, the garage doors weren't put on. Since then, they've been put on. So they're requesting another pay estimate be approved tonight for that. And this estimate would be,
And that's basically, we just basically sign that and send it, and then the county approves it and then pays them, right? Because it comes out of that grant money.
correct.
Is this the 19,000 one?
Yes, and this is the 19,000 one would be total, but you would still have, I believe 19 minus that 34, right?
Yeah, so it'd be 13,000, I believe, 13.
Yeah, lesser 13,725. We're still gonna hold that amount of money, 5%, because one, we wanna do a final walkthrough with the contractor to make sure everything is done. And also, they have to submit, before you can do a final payment, they need to send a maintenance bond, and they haven't done that either.
Okay. So that's the holdback money for that.
Right, so if you could, and you did receive this, right?
It actually came in at 3:45, and I had Sharon just put it in here, and I told her that things were already
Right.
printed, so we will then amend, you know what I mean, we'll.
You could do
make
two,
them-
pass the
Yes.
number 3 and 4.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
they're both here, and then she said
Yeah,
that she would
okay.
have to do the letter.
Because then once it goes there, it takes a couple weeks for the county, so they're gonna be,
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they're rushing it, trying to.
Yeah.
And I see you do have the closeout payment, we're holding no retainage, 45,000 for the final payment on the gym roof replacement.
Yes.
So I just wanted to make sure those items were taken care of. Waynesburg Road water line that Tunnel Ridge is paying for. I have a couple of items on that. One, an NPDS stormwater discharge construction permit was submitted to the Conservation